Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello. I'm Tiffany. Welcome to my quilting life. We are going to load the 25 patch block quilt. Look at this thing. It's beautiful. So beautiful, but it's huge. It's enormous. But it's big enough for a great hangover on my bed. So it's made to go on a queen, even though it'll most likely fit perfectly on a king. So I got my backing, I got my quilt top, and the batting is set aside to keep the cat from getting on it because he's laying at my feet, which you can't see, but he's there. So this is what we're gonna do, is this. Also, I just realized I turned the camera the wrong angle because you are going to be going into the mount. So as soon as we get this loaded, I'm going to be taking you off that and we'll do a little bit of some camera movement and put you into the mount on here so that you can watch me quilt. At this point, I'm not 100% sure what I want to quilt. I kind of think I know what I want, but I mean, this is a very, very busy quilt. And also there is no microphone today due to the fact that I can't pop the phone out of the case because it has to be in a case to be in this mount because of the shaking and vibration. So I'm just letting you know that if you don't hear me, I'm yelling as much as I can, but my living room echoes, so you should be able to hear me pretty darn good today. So yeah, this is what we're gonna load. And I'm gonna show you that this is a 12-foot frame. The backing is a 108 fabric. The quilt top is, what was it again? 102 by 112.
Yeah.
So I have 4 yards of 108. I have to load it because it's 112. I actually have to load it cut side to cut side, not selvage to selvage. I usually like to load the selvage on my bars, but we're going to be loading it the cut side because I have 4 continuous yards and I need that length of the 4 yards, not the width of the 108. So I'm just letting you know, make sure when your quilts are bigger than your 108 in length that you make sure you load your fabric in the length form, not the width form, because then you'll run out of backing fabric and that's a no-go because then you have to actually piece the backing while on the frame, which I have yet to have to show you guys because I don't let myself run out of backing fabric. But one of these days it'll happen and I'll have to show you how to do that. But for now, we're going to stick with keeping this big, huge thing properly loaded, and I'm going to quilt it for you guys right in front of your very eyes. So,
Are you ready for me?
Scott's going to help me because I have a little bit of balance issues today, but we're going to get through this. So, we're going to move the quilt top out of the way and start loading the back. And this is how easy this really is. And sorry I'm not reading comments. Scott will read during it, but it's hard for me to do comments on the Longarm.
Just say hi, everybody.
So, hi everybody and welcome. So this is how easy it is to load this. Back it up just a little. Back it up just a little. Right there. I have red snappers on my frame. Oops.
Whoa. That did that.
There we go. I like the bar that the red snappers hook to sit on the bar itself. And we're going to move the machine as far over as possible, and I'm going to hook it way over here using my bungees. And we're gonna, I didn't even press this. We're just straight from the bolt onto the Longarm because there is no purpose in trying to press this in advance, and the cat is sure staring. He's like, what are you doing, Mama?
It does this everything.
All right, so the fabric, the backing has to go right side facing down. We literally throw the whole entire thing to the other side of the frame. All right, go to your side as far as you can. There we go.
More, less?
Oh, that's perfect. Oh, pull it over. It's not a very straight cut. I have plenty of room to work with here because it's longer. It's 4 yards of fabric, so I don't have to worry about having, not enough hanging at the bottom to snap my snappers on or anything.
Fabric is from Marshall Dry Goods.
I got it from Marshall Dry Goods. If you guys are curious, 108 is actually cheaper. They don't have a lot of choices, but they have enough choices. After a while, the red snappers at first are very tight, but after a while, they actually loosen up. So you just like stick them on and they snap right on. And I drop it and I start rolling. Can you pop this off?
Oh yeah, you ready for it?
Yeah. Hold on, let me pull these out. I always take the bar off.
I got it.
Because I don't need it. I don't pin my quilt top onto the bar. I just get it out of my way. And then I smooth it out. All 4 yards of this stuff.
I'll roll you smooth.
Because you can see there's lots of wrinkles, and I don't want to quilt those wrinkles not too fast because there's some wrinkles down here I don't want in. Straighten that out. There we go.
Once I'm done helping her, I can answer any questions for you
Yeah.
guys, so just hold your questions till we got it loaded. Let me roll it for you.
So I'm just smoothing the wrinkles out in the roll. Ooh, there's a big one right here. Hold on.
Yeah, I see.
Normally I press first, but I really didn't want to have to stand all that extra time because I knew I was going to be standing at the frame for a long time. And it's my own personal quilt anyway, so if there is a couple wrinkles that get quilted in, oh well. Because it's mine. Mine.
Big old minute too coming up.
On both sides. Let's give it a little tug. Right here on this.
This side?
Yeah.
Okay, I was pulling it at the upper top.
I can smooth it.
That'll look good once you get going.
This quilt is so big that it's going to take up a lot of my throat space as I get quilting. And I pre-rolled 15 bobbins for a quilt this size because I'm probably going to heavily quilt it. Are we almost to the end yet? We're almost to the end yet? Yeah, right?
Hey, I'm rolling it and then you're rolling it. Would you just stop? You're rolling past the wrinkles because I'm rolling it and then you roll again. Right here's the big one. You can't keep rolling it.
All right. I think
Now you're at the end.
Okay, lock this bar for a second. Unlock this bar. Alright,
I know
now
what you're doing.
we're going to go onto the back side. This is the burrito method by what a lot of people call it. I just fold it over and hook it on. Alright, here's this. Needs to go a little more.
Yes, ma'am.
Over the edge.
This side is now. Hold on. Yeah, it's good. You're good. You're half an inch. No, you're maybe a whole inch over. Is that too much?
Nope, it's perfectly fine because we have tons of extra room. Alright, so I'm just going to put my snappers on here. Going to make sure that this all stays nice and flat. So if you guys are curious and you don't own a long arm and you're curious how this is done, this is quite simple certain ways. I used to pin, but I poke myself too much because I shake, so putting the pins in. I could never find that balance between a steady hand with a pin, so I just, once I was sent these red snappers, I was like hooked. This is all I ever use now. The only time I would ever pin is a quilt top if I was hooking it onto the bar that I removed. And welcome all those that are joining in. Sorry we're not reading comments right away. Trying to get this on here.
It's okay. There's only 50-some people on. They're just talking to each other.
So once it's fully snapped on, I drop it. It's about right there. Lock it. And then I'm going to tighten this side up. Let me smooth it first. Because there's a big wrinkle right here. Edge right there. Perfect. And snap. All right, now time for the batting. I got to remember which direction it goes because this is 80-20 I'm using, and it's 120 inches in length, and we cut like 115 inches in width. No. So we're going to put it pokey side down.
It's hard to tell on this one. Pokey side. To me, they both feel smooth. You know?
Yeah.
I got like 3 inches over.
I got like 3 inches over.
Okay.
Perfect. Kick it under. Kick it under.
Can you tell? To me, they both feel smooth.
You can visibly see it.
Oh, you're right.
He was curious how you
Tell
tell
them that.
what side is the pokey side of batting. You know,
Well, some of them you can feel
from
it, but this
being-
one it feels the same.
from being punched, needle punched to create the batting. On 80-20, he says you can't feel it, but you can actually see it because you can see the pokes sticking out, like the round dots. On the front side, it looks smooth and they look like they're going inward, but on the other side, they're poking downward. I call it the pokey side, but it's just the wrong side of batting. In case you guys didn't know that batting has a right or a wrong side. The reason why we put the needle punched side facing downward is because our needle is going down, like this. So it's actually a better poke. As the needle goes up and down this way, it's poking down already into a downward poked batting. If that makes any sense to you guys. All right, now quilt top, we gotta figure out which way is what on that. He's putting my bungees on right now.
Actually, this one I might want to change.
That's fine. That's fine.
You can do it, no?
I don't know where you put it.
Huh?
I don't know where you put
Oh, I just behind you.
Oh.
Why behind you?
Alright, this was
Top, bottom, left, right.
longer. I'm gonna assume.
Well, the puppy dogs and the bird, you want to make
Oh,
sure
that
they're up and down. So find a puppy dog.
There is a dog there, and there is a cat there. Which way are they facing?
The birdies are
This
upside
is the
down.
top.
If I see the birdies, they're upside down.
This is a heavy quilt top, guys.
That's just big.
Alright. Go that way a little bit.
One more?
Yeah, right there's fine. Then down about an inch.
Yeah, I'm trying. Right there?
Yep.
More, less?
That's fine. I'll adjust. I float all my quilt tops, and floating just means I let it hang over. It doesn't have to be that tight.
I know this was super tight.
Oh.
You never let me put it on here. I'm making it. Perfection.
It's a very flat quilt top, so it's lining up pretty nicely. But again, yes, floating is just hanging it over and kicking it under the machine, and I adjust as I quilt up. There are a lot of long armors that pre-base the whole quilt. I don't, because my bars, as you can see, are kind of floppy. They're not like super heavy duty, so I definitely don't like to put a ton of weight on them, especially because this one's going to get a ton of weight soon, and it's just going to fill my throat space up. So I definitely make sure that.
Did you sew the red snapper into the leaders yourself?
Yes, I sewed, okay, so my leaders were originally, they're folded over. Well, I sewed straight down about an inch. I actually have a video of the red snappers, putting them on the long arm. I sewed a 1 inch channel all the way down, and then I put my snapping mechanism thingy-mabobber, the plastic piece, through that. All right, so I do have a spoon foot on because there's lots of half square triangles, like lots, because this was the 25 patch flux, you know, so a lot of this is half square triangles. So I did put my spoon foot on, which is called the glide foot too. I just call it a spoon foot because it looks like a spoon. All right, we're going to take you over now and transfer you so that I can baste this. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. I did load the thread color that I chose for my quilt is called Raven. It is purple. It is like a deep dark purple. Actually, it matches my nails. Like perfectly matches my nails. So it's the perfect color for this quilt. So I'm going to take you out of this mount, and we're going to hook up to this mount up here, and you are going to visibly watch me quilt this.
And there's the kitty. You see him over there in the corner of the screen?
Okay, I'm just getting the mount ready for the transfer so that it goes nice and smooth.
I wanted to quick show him.
All right, guys, you're being covered up for a second. You're moving, camera is moving, camera is moving, and camera is going to flip upside down because you were the wrong way, but the video should adjust itself.
Interesting one.
All right, we're gonna now tighten you up into the mount. Sorry for the movement at first, but we want you to be nice and tight in here so that way all vibrations are gone. All right, here we go. Now I just have to pay attention to my charge because I definitely use a lot of power on my phone when I'm doing this. So I'm going to put my thing on baste, and I'm going to baste this with
a charger in there while you're going?
It's too long.
Oh.
I won't, it's not long enough to go across the whole frame. It'll just pool.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my bobbin thread. You can see my beautiful purple thread. Look at that. It's like perfect. It reads Tiffany. Now I'm going to go across here with a 1/2 inch basting stitch all the way across. And this will help me line the quilt top as well. Trying to keep my machine straight because I don't have channel locks. So I do this all manually. And then I'll readjust, obviously, once I get it stitched. I just try to keep the machine at a certain spot all the way down. It's not perfect for me, but this is how I do it. Oh, and when I bind this quilt, I will also be doing that by video when I finally finish quilting it. I will not be quilting the whole thing on video, but the general idea of what I am quilting will be on video for you guys, which will be this video today. And then the next one will be the binding of it, which I will be binding this with the same fabric that is on the back. This side of my machine likes to roll because it's not level. So if you see me trying to hold my machine in place with my fingers, that's because it's trying to roll away.
What would be the best printed fabric to hide bad quilting? Big or small print?
Big print would hide bad quilting. Put my needle down, and now I'm gonna baste down the side.
Why are you using a spoon clip?
Because I'm gonna have a lot of seams to go over. There's a lot of half square triangles here, so I prefer this foot for that. Instead of my ruler foot. I'm not doing ruler work on this. And then I always go back the other way. I don't know why I do, I just do. It's like an extra stitch, and I only do it on the top and the bottom. I don't do it on the whole down the sides all the time. I come back to this side. I baste down this side. The quilt top stays to the batting pretty well on this batting because it's, 80% cotton, but I'll stop right there. I'm going to cut these threads, and then I'm going to tell you what I think I want to do. I think I want to do spirals. I like to quilt spirals. So that's what I want to do. Big ones, though, not little tiny ones, just big from edge to edge spirals. I'm going to tighten the quilt real quick. Where is my thingamabobber? I'm also going to have Scott run this along the quilt real quick.
Oh, yeah. No problem. I can do that every time we turn it.
There's a lot of loose threads. So what do you guys think? Spirals? You think spirals is a good choice?
I can't read the comments at the moment, so I don't know what they're saying.
I can kind of see them on the screen. Kind of. I'm blocked by a mount, but not too bad. So he's swiping the quilt, I should say, right at this very moment.
And nipping. And
nipping all the threads, which I usually do while I'm quilting, but he likes to do that.
I like to do as much as I can to help you. You know this, woman.
And I'm going to sit myself on the stool. I wasn't sure about your something because I can't see that part of the screen. Patterns speak so nice. Spirals sound nice. Love spirals. Good choice. Yes, good edge to edge. Yes, I'm going to do spirals. Not little, big. Not big, huge ones either. I'm not going to go like the size of the whole block. I'm just going to be big ones and then come in and then come back out. All right. Here we go. Let's have some quilting fun. Oh,
That
it would
can
be
go in this
nice.
trash can.
I guess, yeah. All right. So
It'd be
here we
nice
go.
what?
If I had it in precision mode. So I'm in precision mode, which is set at 10 stitches per inch, and the needle will stop when I stop, and it'll go when I go. So here we go. So I'm going to come in, make a loop, and then come out. And I'm going to stop right here real quick and look underneath to check my tension, because the last quilt messed it up. Oh, it looks beautiful. Beautiful. That's what I want. The last quilt gave me tension issues. I don't know if you guys remember, but it was in a video. I haven't quilted in that many days. Wow. All right. And we're off. And there's lots of echoing and lots of movement. And it seems I always try to go faster than I know I can. So sometimes I like make my way around when I'm on the edges to fill in. Like that. And then spaces like this up here, I don't know if you guys noticed up there, I'm not really going to go back and fill that stuff in. I'm just going to leave it. So they're going to range in size from like this big to smaller, and whatever size I need to fill in the space. Because I do only have so much throat space available. So ones like this, I can come in right here, bounce back, make my way out. I'm not effortless. I'm giving this a try. I do have to pay attention to what I'm doing when I do this. I pay attention to where I'm going. I just naturally, I don't know how I picked this up, but I picked it up so naturally. I don't know how, I just did. And if you hear it beep, that's just because I'm going faster than my stitch regulator. Like this little area, I think is a little bit bigger than that last one. So I'll just make a quick echo in and back out. It might seem tight between these two because my spacing is about this far between everything, but sometimes that doesn't matter. So I come right here and then I just echo out. What? It doesn't hurt my back. It doesn't hurt my upper back. My lower back hurts because of the standing. So, and my stool isn't on wheels, so I kind of have to stand. Because if I sit on the stool, I have to move it 500 times, and that's just whatever. But I deal with it, and I'm standing on.
If it was on wheels?
No, the stool's kind of short.
Okay, because see, I could get you something like that on wheels.
Yeah. What was I saying?
I'm standing on anti-fatigue mats, so that helps. Come in and fill this in. And none of my spirals are exact in distance. And see, I just kind of almost made it where I can't get myself back out, but that's okay again. We don't want it to be looking like a computer. Sometimes I go really fast. Sorry, guys. I have a speeding problem. So my throat space is not very big. I have about 16 inches right this very moment. Well, technically like 14 because I'm stopping up where you guys can't see. I wonder if I can. Oh, it doesn't allow me to. It only allows me to zoom. Sorry, guys. I thought it would allow me to like back out like I do with my other videos, but it doesn't allow that. Up there, I'm not really as far up to the bar as I could possibly go. So technically maybe, I don't know, 14 inches worth. But I mean, it allows me to quilt a substantial amount of space at a time. So that's a positive. All right. So sometimes I come halfway, back up, you know, just creating that. Because I do have to echo quite a bit. Look at this. No matter how hard I try, here is cat hair right here. Did you see that? No matter how hard I try to keep the cat off of everything. There's a big one in right here. See, I do have a big empty spot right here, but again, it does not have to be 100% filled in, but I'm going to kind of go in there very closely, like it's my quilt. There we go. Now it's somewhat quilted. I'm going to finish this area. Sometimes I switch back to base so that I can cross over. sometimes I like to throw the half ones in to make it look like that was a spiral along the top. It's usually just on the top, the sides, and the bottom that I have to do that.
When you go faster than the machine, will it mess up your stitching?
Nope. If I go super faster than the machine, instead of it messing up my stitching, it actually breaks thread. So I really try to stay consistent with my speed, but you know, I like to go fast. Throwing a little guy. Sorry for the bouncing. That's why I hold my hand usually on the quilt so it doesn't bounce too much for you guys, especially when I'm filming. An edge, so I just make it look like there was one there, and here we are at the end. So I'm not gonna advance it all the way because I do need to come up to most of those spirals. So what I actually do, and I'm gonna break thread so that I could show you guys this for newbie long armors that have, you know, limited throat space, is I go across, I'm gonna try to go slow, and I find my highest point. So up here, and then I don't know if you see my hand down that way, you can't see my hand, but from here, I think that's one of my highest points. I had that much left over in throat space. You can see when I ding, that's my stop. So I'll find that. And then I go across and see, so I have a second one that's that same height. And then again, further down.
How long does this normally take you?
I have a third. This size quilt at this size stitching, it'll take me about 3 hours. And then, see, I have to fill in up there, so I'm along my same area. So I could actually, no, not yet. I'm going to show you guys sometimes how I fix the way too high before my roll. I come up. And I echo stitch. This one might be going too far, but we'll see right now. So like right here, if I wanted, I'm just going to show you, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you how I do this. If I didn't want to have to advance this far up, you can see in the top right corner of the screen. If I didn't want to advance this far back, because I want everything to be, you know, a certain distance, like say this line right here of the sashing, what I would do is exactly this. I would bounce this way. Oh, we're out of bobbin. Well, let's get a new bobbin in here and then continue on. It's going to go fast real quick because it's sliding over.
Did you answer how long it would take you?
Yeah, I said it would take about 3 hours, this size quilt.
Explain to them the stool thing that we were looking at, sir.
I was looking at these stools online that are saddle stools. Most of them don't get tall enough. I'm sorry, I have a mint in my mouth.
Well, we were worried about when it does go up high enough for you to actually sit here to quilt, that your feet wouldn't touch the ground.
Yeah, so
That's what I was worried about, because once the stool's high enough up here for you, because we just raised the machine.
Yeah. We need a tall stool for me that has the peg legs.
Tiff has a hard enough time getting in and out of the new couch we just bought, if you guys watched the video where we talked about that, because her feet don't touch the ground sitting down on the couch.
So on a stool, I would have to have something for my feet to sit on, because if my feet go numb, then I won't be able to walk for quite some time. It's a struggle. Aw, Bertie, thank you.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Dog.
So
Yeah, we were looking at the stool.
we were looking at the stool with the crossbars. They get to 41 inch, well, the back of the stool. I want one that has a chair back, because I can't do the saddle thing where you spread your legs and sit on it. That would kill my hips so bad. So I was thinking of the one that has a regular chair seat, but kind of, what is the word? Ergonomic seating with a nice back that has the thing around the bottom that my legs can, or my feet can sit on to keep my legs from going numb. And it has to get tall enough, because this is, I'm short, but for some reason I prefer my long arm a little bit higher. So since Becca sent me the, what are these called again? Casters for my long arm, and it made it taller by like 2.5, 3 inches almost. And it sits right under my breasts, so right at the top of my breastbone. It's way more comfortable at this height for me. So I need a stool that would keep me at this height, which is hard, because the stool that I have, the little wooden one you guys have seen in my living room before, if you watch my quilting video with Eric, when he was here from Treasure Heart Creations, he had to sit on that stool and he still was too tall. Well, me, on the other hand, I'm still too short. So anyway, that's what I want to get, is a stool, just for the days I feel like this, because I'm, you know, my body's wobbly. So here we are. I just dropped my bow. I didn't even cut the thread yet. I'm going to be filling this in. So let me just go this way. And then I'm going to snip that away. And then I echo back. So if I want this up here to be equal with this down here, this other stitch that you cannot see, but you can see that it comes down in the bottom left, I will echo in that spot and then continue on a quilt this big, probably 12 at this amount of quilting. I rolled 15, but I have enough bobbins that my own, I bought like loads, and I pre-wind my own I make the bobbins for what I'm quilting. So, and I have bobbin cases for leftovers when I roll too much. So I rolled 15. I'll probably use 12 of them. All right, time to advance the quilt, Mr. Scotty.
Yep, I'm here. I was ready for you to do that earlier. I moved the thingies and jumped the gun.
Fine. So we're gonna go to.
Well, you got the machine on it here, so
Yeah.
I can kind of tell how far we're gonna go.
Right there.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay.
So as you can see, I did not advance all the way. And you'll see when I go to start quilting. Obviously, you guys are stationary.
Oh, you did the clips on this side? You're doing my job. Lady.
All right, so I'm just straightening the batting and everything out. You guys can't see that part, but it's really heavy. So I got to give it a little bit of a tug.
I'll start on this side of my job. Since you're going to be on this side to begin with, I take it? Or are you going to go all the way to the other side?
Nope, I'm on this side now. So now that I'm on this side, I'm going to baste it, and then I'm going to do my spirals from this side to that side. Usually stuff like this, if it was straight quilting, I would probably break thread 500 times and start cursing out my quilt. But this is not straight quilting, so the machine is moving. But straight from side to side, my machine does not like to do that. I don't know why. It just doesn't. So I am going to go ahead and baste this real quick.
It says nope.
I just go down. And this just, the base stitch down the side for me, it just helps when I go to trim the quilt from it having a lip and catching that lip. When I had my old machine, my old frame, I didn't do that as often. And I would catch the lip when I'd go to trim the quilt finally. When I'd be done, I'd go to trim the quilt and I'd catch it and I'd get a little nick. And it was hard to cover that with binding or I'd lose. So I definitely base the sides down so that they stay now. All right, so now we're gonna go, oops, the other way. Totally not straight. I mean, not curved. It's my quilt, who cares? So there's so much weight right now on my bar. I'm just gonna tell you guys this. There's so much weight on the bar that's down this way at my body that it keeps snapping, and every time it snaps from the weight of the sheer weight of this quilt hanging off of here. Excuse me. It makes me mess up. Little guys in here. notice I'm not going far down. To the full extent of my throat space, and that is because I can come and give it just like 2 half a turns on the bars and be able to fill it in better with bigger spirals. So sometimes there's quilts, because of my throat space again, that I make it work by like 3 or 4 snaps of the top bar up here. You know, I just turn it like 3 or 4 times, and then it evens me out so that I can continue with the same size spirals from one side to the other, or any design that I'm working on. So sometimes all you need is a quick turn and not a full, I guess the width of your, or the length of your throat space, you know, just partially. So I'm filling in partially, so that way I can come back with a half a turn and have an equal looking amount of space quilted. If I wanted, I can come down like this at any point. And continue on, because I'm leaving all that space. As you can see, I did it again where I didn't come up and fill in a space. I'm just going to go ahead and leave that, because I would be cutting it too close. Sometimes it's not perfect. Like I said, it's not an exact science when you're long arm quilting. It's having fun, doing the best you can, and enjoying what you do. If you don't enjoy it and these things bother you too much, then I would not long arm quilt. But it's not going to bother me. I just, you know, I would prefer if I would have landed there, but I didn't. So you see, I filled in that little space instead of leaving it a gap. I try to think about it when I'm right here, but it doesn't always happen like I want. Nope. So notice I did not baste this side yet, and for some strange reason, we got some serial sagging here going on, Mr. Scuddy. I don't know why.
What do you want me to do? I don't know what to do about that.
There we go. I'll pick that up a little bit.
Oh, is any of it too? Honey? What?
Oops. I didn't even go on that. So we're going to do a hat, I'm just going to go halfway. So I'm only going to roll up, I don't know, like 6 inches so that I can fill in the other sections as I go back the opposite direction. So half a roll, Mr. Scotty.
You just told me not even 30 seconds ago that we weren't.
Oh, I was ready now. I was basting when you said that.
So we are rolling it?
Oh, no, don't roll it. Don't roll it. Nope, don't. I got to fill in up there and we're not going to be able to get that. I have a space that's way too high up here, and if I roll it, I will miss it completely. What?
How many different blocks did you end up doing? I don't
There's
remember.
90 different blocks. Everyone is different. If I what?
Ever get material bunch up at the very end?
Bunch up at the very end? Yeah, it's happened before. It's just what happened. The quilt starts to wave the older, the longer it's been just being carried around the top, the more you drag it around, the more you move it, the more it stretches. 90% of these blocks are all bias seams because they are half square triangles. So the whole thing is going to stretch over time and it just keeps stretching and stretching. So eventually some quilts will have puckering along the sides as you're straightening it, and you just have to work that in. What did you say?
How many blocks?
90. Wasn't planning on going from one side to the other again, but due to the fact that I saw a big up opening, I just went from one side to the other. So we're gonna do
Now are you ready to roll?
yeah,
Oh,
just a half a roll, please. All right, keep going.
You're trying.
Right there, right there. Right there's perfect. I do have to straighten it every time I do this, though.
Move and let me work? Yes, you do. You're in Maui at the moment.
There we go. All right. So you can see I only went from here to here. I didn't roll it very much. Now I'm going to, again from this side, because I normally go from the other side, but today we're going from this side.
Yeah, what do you do about that?
Carry that weight. All right, here we go. accidentally crossed over just now. I didn't mean to. It happens, and I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to pick it.
These videos in a playlist.
Yeah,
right?
all the 25 patch block videos are all in a playlist. Yep, it's called the 25 patch block series. It's under playlists.
Yeah, you go under the Tiffany's Quilting Live site on YouTube, and on there, there's her playlists. And in one of her playlists, you know, one's Longarm and one's 25 patch blocks. Just click on that one.
There's Sunday's playlist. There's mail opening playlists. There's playlists for all sorts of stuff. There's an Insomniac series, just all sorts of stuff. But yeah, this one's the 25 patch block series. It's just thread dust, by the way, that I'm plucking out of here so that I can see, because it gets so dusty right here that I can't see. Out of thread. Bobbin, I mean, not top.
Thread didn't make it to where you gotta roll.
Yeah.
You do both at once.
Yep. Bobbin testing, tension testing. I've been asked that about lately. Here's my bobbin case for my long arm. You can see this is the little clip that puts it in. Here is my thread. I don't wind my bobbins all the way because, well, I just don't. I mean, the machine, I set the winder to not do it all the way. So my tail end of my bobbin thread needs to come out to my right hand. Then I hold my bobbin case. As you can see, there's a spring in there even. I hold it facing me, open, the open side. I lay this in here. Again, it's coming out from the right hand. Slide it in there. Come down to this first notch, and into that hole. To test my bobbin to make sure that the tension is good, I lift it up and oops, I did not want that to happen. I'm trying to do this on camera. I put it in my hand and I lift it. If it lifts in my hand but doesn't lift out of my hand, so you can see it doesn't lift up out of my hand, it's trying to come out, so it's kind of loose actually. So sometimes the bobbin rolls just a little bit loose. There's a little knob here. It's literally the tiniest little tiny amount of turning.
What size bobbin?
So you can see now it's perfect. This is a L bobbin. I don't remember now.
Are they M?
M. These are M bobbins. Yeah. For some reason, my brain always forgets because they almost look the same size as my Juki, but they're not. So that's how I test the bobbin every time. I never really do the top tension. It's the bobbin I always adjust. The top I barely have to adjust. So just thought I'd let you guys know that. I don't know why I do bobbin instead of top, but it's always usually equal. And the top I just adjust if I see the thread, the bobbin sticking up here. You know, if I see eyelashes or anything, then I adjust it back down to the bottom. If I see eyelashes from the top thread, I pull it back up to the top. If it on the bottom, but I don't look under there very often. Well, I should, but I don't. I do when I do my client quilts. When I'm quilting my client quilts, I check often because I've so many times have started quilting their quilts and then randomly had a bobbin just go wacky on one pass. And then it messes the whole thing up. Stop it right there. I need to stretch my legs and grab a water. So hold on 2
I
seconds.
can get you the water.
Okay, get me the water.
You can wait.
Oh my goodness. Give me a second, guys. I have to rest my legs. I'm hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying me quilting here.
Well, you've been on for over an hour. You can stop.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm doing good. All right, here we go. Oops. All right, see what happened here? Can you see that? That is shredding of the thread. So as I'm talking about it, it started to shred. So you can see, messes it up. I'm gonna pop that needle up. Yep, as soon as I start talking about this junk, it happens. So I'm gonna pick out right here because I know on the bottom, it's going to be messed up. It happens every time. The top, when it shreds, the bobbin gets messed up. Because see, it pulled too tight. I can barely get these stitches now. Hi. Shredding happens every now and then. It's not a constant. It's just here and there. Sorry, I pulled from the bobbin so that I can loosen this. So there's my bobbin thread now. We're going to slide that. Sorry for the speeding. And I can see where it started to mess up right here. Sometimes I can get it, sometimes I cannot. Because of my fingers. All right. I'm going to look underneath and see how horrible it looks. Oh, it looks fine. Okay, I'm going to leave that. I'm not picking the rest of that out. I'm just going to rethread So here you can see that's what the shredding looks like. It happens every now and then. It's no spool of thread, I don't care what brand, is going to stay perfect the whole entire spool. You're going to have 1 or 2 hiccups along the way. So that's what that did. Just have to rethread it real quick. Sometimes I have to snip the thread fresh to get it in the hole. All right. So we're going to pop that down right here. And retie off. The cat just ran into the window.
That's the third time. It's really good at exercise today.
All right, so I'm just gonna swirl right here real quick. Snip this away. And continue on. And for those that are probably gonna ask, I do not bury my threads. I just snip it and restart the stitch over the original stitch. So that way it ties it back down. So that way there's like double stitching over it, you know? Because I'm too lazy to tie anything. Or bury my threads. So I have a little bit of sagging going on in the quilt right here. Oops, wrong stitch. Precision. There we go. Okay, I have to adjust a little bit because this quilt is very heavy and it's yanking a ton. What I was talking about earlier from the question from earlier. All right.
Hey, I'm supposed to roll. What are you doing?
Just giving it a little bit. I gotta get the sagging. I gotta get the sagging under control.
What stitch size do you normally use?
10 stitches per inch. I'm a sucker for 10 stitches per inch because I think it looks very clean. Anything more than that becomes harder to pick it out if I mess it up. I know a lot of quilters that do like 12 stitches per inch or whatever, but the more stitches per inch, the more hassle it is to pick it out. So I try to stick with 10. What I'm doing right now, you guys cannot see, is I'm actually straightening the quilt out on the floor real quick because I have the floor space to pull on it so that I can get control of my sag. It's probably going to be slightly crooked because it is sagging just a little. All right. That should be good. All right, so I only have a half of a roll again. See where it's happening right here. It's like a bow in the center. Oh well, I'm gonna leave it. It's my quilt. All right. So you guys can see this. See how it's going crooked right here? It's not straight. I'm gonna start straightening it out little by little as I work. Just ever slightly. I'm gonna work it in. Just gonna adjust it, fan it out. This happens. Somebody mentioned it, and obviously it happens. Even I have not straight quilts. Notice what I did there? I put a big spiral in with quite a bit of spacing. I tried to be slow about it, but it never happens that way. I gotta check my charge. Oh, we're good for a while. I do have to say, I've been asked before. Oh, that was really wide. I've been asked before, how do I keep my spirals so round? Like when they move their long arm, that they don't get such round results. Here's the trick. Go faster. For some strange reason, the slower you go, the less round. I've noticed this, and I've been doing this for 6 years now on a long arm. Or at least on a framed machine where you move it by your hands, you know what I mean, at the handlebars. I've always found the faster you go, the rounder you can keep the machine going. The slower you go, the more square looking your spirals or circles or whatever it is that you're doing becomes. So speed up just a little bit to where you're a little bit more comfortable. And if you're like me, where you overly, what's the word? Go faster than your stitch regulator, then change it to manual mode and find a percentage that works for you. I will tell you right now, if I put my machine in manual mode, the percentage that works for me is not on this machine. I stitch faster than the machine's manual mode, and I end up with tons and tons of big stitches because I just stitch too fast for it when it's on 100%. So find your machine's manual mode percentage that works for you and just work with that instead. I try to stay at a consistent speed when I'm doing my spirals like this or any kind of circly motions. That way I can keep them round at my faster speeding of the moving of the machine. But just know the rounder spirals, circles, curves come from faster stitching. So you not only are stitching faster, but you have to look in front of you faster too. So instead of, I don't look at the needle, I look where I'm going. So here's the needle now. I'm going to hit right here and bounce back to here. I always look ahead of me, and then I'm looking ahead of me again. So I know where I'm going to go. Just know that a little bit faster, you do have to, with your eyes, pay attention faster. that's one of the things I get asked quite a bit is how I know where I'm going. How do I keep my spirals so round? But that's why, because I go a little bit faster than I should.
That you do, which one do you enjoy the most?
I enjoy doing spirals.
The most of all of them, of all the flowers you do, of all.
I like spirals. I like spinning the machine in circles. I had a thread break, guys. Sorry, and it's tangled up on my take-up thingy-mabobber because I was going too fast for the stitch regulator, so you know, messes it up a little bit. Come on, go in the path that you're supposed to go.
It's 10 o'clock. How long do you want to keep going?
Just until I finish this pass.
Well, I don't care. I'm asking because your legs hurt and everything.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's commenting on
So-
it. That's what's making me think about it.
My bobbin is still connected down there. So see, this is why I don't ever tie threads. So here's the end where it's ended, right? What I'm going to do is come down like an inch beyond that. Can you see? I'm going to pull that bobbin up. Right here. I'm going to find the not pulling and the pulling. You can see that one's pulling. I'm going to snip that not pulling one. So my bobbin is technically still connected to its original stitch. And then I tie it off with some slight movements and then stitch away from it. So that stitch right there should not come undone. That's my little trick for the long arm for running out of thread on the top or breaking thread. You know what I mean? Tying it off. There's the word I was looking for. So that was my last pass for today. I'll probably work on this later, not on camera, but I will take it off the, oops, you know what? Don't tie it off, Tiffany, don't tie it off.
When you were just starting, or when you went
No, I'm not a paper drawer. I mean, sometimes I do for like a quick general idea, but I definitely don't, I did it again. I definitely don't draw on paper.
You only doodle your new design.
Yeah, I only doodle stuff that I see in my head just to make sure it actually has a path. So when I come up with something like I don't know, like a new flower or some kind of something or other, then I'll like kind of doodle it to my best ability and then make sure that it works on the paper before it goes to the long arm. Because sometimes I see something in my head and the path doesn't always work out. All right, I'm going to take you off the camera mount for a minute.
Do they have rulers for spirals?
They have rulers for spirals, and here, I'll show you. We'll leave you in this mount for 2 seconds.
Yeah, show me your rulers. I know you got some.
Where's it at? So, I'm not going to take it out of the case, but here is a ruler from, I don't know, whatever this is called again. Template instructions, and you can just follow. You would go in. I don't have the correct foot on here, so I can't go in and show you. But you would put you put it, you load it in here, and then you slide it in, and then you do your spiral. Okay, and then you come back out, and then you flip it, and then you do your spiral the opposite way, and then you come back out, and then you flip it. You find a place to flip it. It shows you on the back. It has directions. You would stop, and then I guess you turn it and go again. They make all sorts of companies make these kind of templates, making it easy to follow. So if you need to learn, these are okay, but this, just know that the templates are actually going to take you longer than just loading a piece of scrap fabric and spinning your machine in circles. So, but yeah, they do make templates for spirals, and I think I even have another company's brand for sit down. Trying to find it. Oh, there it is.
Will that ruler work on a domestic sewing machine?
So here's for domestic machines. I have a spiral for the domestic machines. This is the Country Stitching by Dusty Farrell. This does spirals, and it exits you out into another spiral so that you can turn it and go. So these are made not for the long arm. You can see that they're not very thick. These are 1/8 of an inch. The ones for the long arm, you go, are that thick. So see the difference in thickness? You definitely, long arm, not long arm. You definitely will know when you go to buy rulers. So this is for sit down quilting at a domestic machine, and these are for long arms. And the ones that I just showed you, we're back to this guy again. I'm going to pull him out just so that you can see the size. This one is long arm or sit down because see that thickness? See that thickness? So this one could be long arm or sit down. Now remember, the ones that are long arm or sit down can also be used for your mid arms. So if you have a long arm on a table being considered as a mid arm, then, and you're free motion quilting on that, you can use these rulers as long as you have your ruler foot, which looks like this. This is a ruler foot. So just make sure on your ruler foot for your domestic machine, it's not that flat thing. You cannot use rulers with that flat thing. That is impossible. But for this, it would slide up along the edge perfectly, and it won't pop out. So make sure you have the correct foot on. The one for the domestic, I have one for my Juki, and it is just, it almost looks exactly the same to that one, except
Where they buy
these ones,
the ones for domestic.
these ones are by Dusty Farrell. Country, CSCountrystitching.com. So I am not sponsored by them, but I do have these rulers. I have a few of them. I just keep them out here because I don't do free motion anymore to sit down. And my favorite ruler of all time so far is this one. If you guys want to know, my Natalia Bonner piece and quilt 4-in-1. It's the 4-in-1 ruler. I love this thing. So it has like a curve here. It has a tighter curve here. It has a straight edge there. And then it has a shorter curve there. I love this ruler. I use this the most if I'm ruler working. This is the one I tend to lean to the most. Besides my straight edge, which you just saw, which is this one. Oh, and there's also the Westerly rulers. So these are rulers as well. Sorry about the lighting from there. These are the Westerly rulers. I like these. I like to play with these. You put, I taped my puzzle pieces permanently and I just lift my foot like this and slide my rulers under it, And then I like to make little designs with them. They come with a little book, so it shows you the designs that you can make with these, and they have tons of markings on them so that you can see and line things up. I like these rulers. You can get a set of 6 of them on like Amazon for like $19 or $20. And then like other brands for long arm rulers or sit down free motion are the Angela Walters rulers. This one's the slim. I don't have any of the other ones, but these are by Creative Grids. So you can see they have the non-slip on them, although they slip on the long arm just easily. I don't know how that stops it. Maybe with the sit down free motion it does, but I don't do that anymore. But just know there's all sorts of brands that you can get. There's lots of them. And Angela Walters just designed a new set of them. So she not only has the Slim and Elvira and all those ones from that series, but she also has new ones that are coming out or just came out. I don't remember if they just came out or they're coming out, but I was going to look into them. So, all right, let me take you guys off this mount and put you in the other one. Camera's moving, camera's moving. I'm just going to leave you right here for 2 seconds so that I can.
Are the rulers often starting points for you? Meaning you use them until you realize you do it faster without them?
No, actually, I like to just use the rulers for ruler work for certain things in certain blocks. I'm going to stop this from moving real quick so that I can.
You rarely use rulers.
Yeah, I rarely use rulers. I'm going to back tack this just a little bit so you guys can see what it looks like almost in a hole. Oops.
Why don't you let me roll it for you?
Well, I'm just showing them what it's looking like. Because you're not going to see it until I'm done and ready to bind it. All right, let's take you out of the mount again and show you what it looks like. So there is what it's going to look like, general idea of it. So you can see those spirals fold into each other. They're all different sizes. And I try not to do point. When I do stuff like this where I'm doing tons of them, I don't do, as you guys saw me quilting, I don't do a pointed tip into my spiral. I always curve it in and turn it around so that it makes it look like, hey, what direction does that really go? I like the look of it when it, confuses you which way that spiral was actually going. So that's a general idea. And I still have, well, way more than that.
You really pulled all the scrappiness?
Look at this, guys. This is how much more I have left to quilt. I barely scratched the surface. I have that much more to go. Now you know why I rolled a ton of bobbins. That is a lot of quilt.
It's softer looking too curved.
Yes. Well, I thought spirals will take away the fact, yeah, because there's so much squares, so many squares and half squares and so on. So I definitely wanted it
They're
to
all
be.
saying it's beautiful and great colors and it's huge.
Yes, it is definitely.
Well, it's
huge.
90 blocks total, people.
Yeah, it's 90 blocks of pure awesomeness. All right, we're gonna
9 blocks by 10. 90
put you
total.
guys right here. Hi. You guys could see my face. I'm gonna put my stool right here and say hi for a minute, so you guys can see. So I am glad you guys have been hanging out with this 25 patch block series, and you sat here, and I know live streaming on the Longarm, I keep forgetting the camera's on that side. Live streaming on the Longarm is a little bit iffy on whether it's going to be continuously a good feed or if it's going to blur out, unblur, blur out, but it seemed pretty good this time. So this is what I'm doing. I will continue 100% all the way down with that. So a full turn, a half turn with the rolling it up as I go, so that way it's equally filling in everything. Sometimes you have to quilt that way because of how much throat space. And again, I have an 18-inch machine, 16 inches, because there's a bar right here, and that's like an, I don't know, 1.5 inches wide. So that's gone right away. So definitely gotta improvise with your quilting for certain designs. And this is one of those designs, if you want it to be staggered so it looks continuous, you definitely have to half roll it full, half full, until it's all filled in. So I'll be at this for like, if it's already been it's been 1.5 hours since loading. So I've been quilting for what, 45 minutes? Something like that. 40, an hour. I've been probably
started before 9.
Yeah, I've been going about an hour. So 2 more hours of it becomes an all day thing, but 2 more hours or so and I'll have the whole thing done.
Did you ever put mirrors on the floor so you can see the bottom of your quilt?
No,
The closet mirrors, the long ones that we have. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I never did that, and well, I always just check my bobbin tension, honestly, because that way I don't have tension issues. And if there's like, when you get used to a certain machine, I am used to my machine 100%. When you get used to a certain machine and the sounds it makes, sometimes you can tell if the bobbin is off or if the top thread, it just has weird sounds. I listen for those sounds, and if I hear something that doesn't sound right, this is why I don't wear earplugs. For music, I just blast the stereo because I can still hear the machine when I'm working not on camera. But if I hear a weird sound, I always stop and look underneath. And if it's good, then I just continue on and chalk that up to this does make weird sounds, but yeah, I could put mirrors down and look underneath, but right now all I actually do is take my handy dandy flashlight and I look underneath and that's what I do. So, and I usually check around where I just quilted. So when I look underneath and I'm like right here, I just look where I have just quilted in that area. And if it looks good, I'm pretty sure the whole thing is.
Do you have your labels laying back here somewhere?
Yeah. No, they're not. They're inside the basket on the table. You know that thing I made, the quilty caddy?
Yes.
It's in there. Next to the Juki. Thank you. Learned some wonderful tips. I'm glad you guys are getting tips with this.
Okay, since everybody keeps asking, I made 18 of these, this size. It's a little teeny tiny thing.
Yeah.
It took 2 hours. Just so you guys realize, if I'm charging y'all minimum wage at $15 an hour, that's $30 plus shipping. So you're looking at it close to $50
Plus
just to
fabric
make
and
these.
thread. Yeah.
Because yes, fabric, thread, needles, we change the needles,
Yeah.
all that just to make this little design.
Yep.
So I can make you all these. You guys keep asking me. Yeah, I can make you all these you want if you're willing to pay.
Yep. They take a while to do. We're going to do a video on it, but again, it takes 2 hours of filming to get it all in one video. So, all right. Where was I? I don't know. I'm done for the day.
well, not the day. I'll probably work on this later, like after I take a nap. My legs are tired and they're killing me. So, any other questions?
Yeah, we'll talk about labels when we make a video on it.
Yeah, we'll talk
Alright,
about
we'll
labels
talk
when
about
we make a video about labels. We just haven't been able to get to everything because I've been not fully me. So, but I'm trying to. This is pushing me to be me again. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know.
You're doing good, honey. You're doing good.
I'm trying an hour at a time.
You get a lot of work done.
So that's that. I'll continue on. The next video for this series is binding it. That's the last and final video. We'll be binding this quilt using the backing fabric. So I'm actually going to cut strips from the backing, the leftover backing fabric, to bind it, which is perfect because I like doing that, because then I have literally only 4 seams, literally 4 seams, and I can line them up perfectly, and it's like a flawless binding when you can use your 108 backing fabric to bind a quilt. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you for watching today. Hope everybody enjoyed learning how to quilt spirals in a not so learning manner, because it's hard to describe. You have to visually watch. And I'm just gonna see you when I see you, probably Sunday. I do have a video I need to edit. I guess that's what I can do when my legs are up relaxing. So anyway, bye everybody.
3 minutes.